So Nothing just gave us all the details about the Nothing Phone 3A and 3A Pro, and they look really exciting. So let me tell you about it. So we gotta start off with design. So for the Nothing Phone 3A, it looks very much like the Nothing Phone 2A with this pattern on the back, and on the top we've got this like little bubble. But on this phone we've got 3 cameras and this new camera bar. It looks very much like the Pixel 9 Pro. I personally really like this. They've also now made the back glass instead of plastic, which is a nice premium touch that they're adding. And it's also now IP64 for water resistance, which is better than the IP54 on the Nothing Phone 2A. This could have something to do with them switching to glass on the back now. And in terms of colors, this phone comes in black, white, or the new blue, which I actually think looks really interesting, and it's definitely very unique. It's very nice to see Nothing adding more colors to their phones and their products. But personally, I don't really like the blue that much, but it's definitely very unique. So overall, I really like the design of the Nothing Phone 3A, and I think it's very good. It's not like a love it or hate it design, I would personally say, which the Nothing Phone 3A Pro is. We'll get to that a little bit later, but I think a lot of people are going to like this. For the 3A Pro, the design is very different. We got this brand new design with this new camera bar at the top. The camera bar has this multi-layer design, which looks really cool, and it feels like there's glass on top of it. I also think there is. And at the bottom there's also the same pattern as the Nothing Phone 3A, I'm pretty sure. And this is very much a love it or hate it design. You either love it and think it looks really cool and really unique, or you think it looks awful. Personally, I really like it, and I think it's very unique, but this camera layout is definitely not symmetric by any stretch of the imagination. What I really hated about this phone when I first saw it was the thickness of this camera bar, because it looked really thick in photos. And I actually found out that it isn't that thick. The entire phone itself is actually just a little thicker than the Nothing Phone 3A, and it's even thinner than the Nothing Phone 2A, which is pretty impressive. And it comes in grey and black, which is just like the Nothing Phone 2A Plus, and I think it looks really good in this grey color with this like metallic finish. It's not as much of a metallic finish as the Nothing Phone 2A Plus, but it's definitely one of my favorite Nothing Phone colors. For the camera, the Nothing Phone 3A has 3 cameras now. So it has a 50 megapixel optical image stabilization main camera, a 50 megapixel telephoto camera, and then an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera. It's actually a downgrade on the ultra-wide camera from 50 megapixels to 8 megapixels. That's a big downgrade. Nothing phones have had 50 megapixel ultra-wide cameras ever since the Nothing Phone 1. So it's a little sad to see them go down to 8 megapixels. I hope they change this for like the Nothing Phone 4A. I also think it's really cool to have a dedicated telephoto camera for zoom, and independent reviews are saying that these cameras are pretty good for the telephoto and the normal one. But actually the ultra wide is not that good, since it's only 8 megapixels. Is also a downgrade from the Nothing Phone 1 even. The 3A Pro features a slightly better 50 megapixel optical image stabilization shake-free camera, which I assume has better optical image stabilization than the 3A. The ultra-wide camera is the same at 8 megapixels, but the front camera is actually 50 megapixels, just like on the Nothing Phone 2A Plus, which I think is actually crazy for a phone to have a 50 megapixel front camera. But the real difference is the periscope camera, instead of the telephoto camera. So the 50 megapixel periscope camera features 3 times optical zoom, 6 times lossless zoom, which I assume is like where it is digital zoom, but then their processing is just so good that they can like make it seem like it's optical zoom, and then it has 60 times digital zoom. And I think this is actually really impressive to have a periscope camera at a phone for this price. That's at least what I've been hearing from independent reviews that I've seen, and independent reviews are also saying that this is really good, and especially for the price. The reason the camera bump is so tall is because of this new periscope camera. One of the main new features with these phones is the new Essential key, which is a new button that has like a curved finish to differentiate from the other buttons on the phone. And what this button does is it does action with the essential space. So when you press the button, you'll take a screenshot of your screen, and then you can add a note to it by transcribing or typing it in. And then it will save it into your essential space. You can take a screenshot of a concert page, and then you can tell AI that you want to go to that concert, and then AI will automatically set reminders for you to buy the tickets and to plan the trip, which is really cool, a really cool use of AI. And then if you hold down the button, you can do a voice note where you don't take a screenshot of the screen, and they will also be saved into the essential space. And if you double press the button, you will go into essential space, and there you can see all your notes and screenshots, and also your reminders. And you can an AI will also categorize your screenshots for you, which is really useful in my opinion. This reminder thing doesn't integrate with any apps like Google Tasks or something like that. So therefore I probably wouldn't use it if I got it, but the screenshot thing is very useful. I really want to see Nothing implement this with something like Google Tasks in the future, or do a web client for it, because personally I use Google Tasks, and I need to have my task app on my desktop. But anyways, it's a really cool feature, especially the AI categorization of apps, and that it understands what's on screen and can set reminders for you. So in terms of performance, these phones have the new Snapdragon 7S Gen 3 chip, which is about the same performance as the Nothing Phone 2a Plus. Like almost no improvement there in terms of performance, but still a pretty good chip. And it should be more power efficient, so you should get a little bit better battery life. And this phone comes with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, or 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. And if you want the Nothing Phone 3a Pro, you can only get it with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. And strangely enough, where I live, if you want 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, there's only about the equivalent of a $20 difference in the price between the 3A and the 3A Pro, which makes the 3A Pro a really good deal. These phones come with 5000 mAh batteries, which is the same as almost all Nothing phones like ever. And I want to see them put bigger batteries in phones in the future, since many other competitors are putting like 6000 mAh batteries in phones now, because you can get technology that makes batteries much smaller now. And it charges with 50 watts wired charging, and sadly it doesn't have wireless charging. Some corners had to be cut to this really great price, which I'll get to at the end. By the way, I also want Nothing to put Qi2 on the Nothing Phone 2, since you can't put like a magnet sticker on the back of a Nothing phone. That just ruined the look. For display, it's pretty much the same as the Nothing Phone 2a Plus on these phones. It's a little bigger at 6.77 inches, and it's a 120Hz AMOLED screen, which looks really good. And it does have a little improvement that is going to be 3000 nits of peak brightness, which is really bright. Like, I don't think they need to make phone screens that bright, but it's a nice improvement, I guess. And it of course comes with the brilliant Nothing OS that I really like, and when I heard in a video that it was going to get 6 years of updates, I was really happy. But then I found out that it was only 6 years of security updates, not 6 years of software updates. It's still getting 3 years of software updates, but it's getting a little improvement in security updates from 4 years to 6 years. The Nothing Phone 3a starts at £329 or 329 euros. The Nothing Phone 3a Pro starts at $459, 459 euros or $449. And Nothing Phone 3a goes on sale on March 11th, and the Nothing Phone 3a Pro goes on sale on March 25th. So should you buy these phones? Well, for Nothing Phone 3a, the essential key is still in beta, and it's still only a smartphone app. It doesn't have a desktop client, so therefore it might not be that useful for you. And I don't think it's a main buying factor for getting this phone. And also it doesn't have wireless charging, and it only gets 3 years of software updates, while competitors like Samsung get 5+ years of software updates. But if you're okay with all of those things, I think the Nothing Phone 3a is a great phone for the price. And for the Nothing Phone 3a Pro, I would only buy that over the Nothing Phone 3a if you want the better camera and that's very important for you, or if you just really like this new cool unique design. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you want to see content about Nothing in the future, do consider subscribing. And thank you for 300 subscribers, by the way. Thanks for watching.